Burnout. It's a word we hear all the time, but what does it actually feel like? I mean, it's so much more than just being tired. It's this really deep, kind of complex experience that can be tough to even put into words. So today, let's really dig in and dissect the anatomy of that feeling. So, have you ever felt just completely drained? I mean, really truly done? It's a feeling that goes so far beyond just needing a good night's sleep, right? And that feeling, right there, that's the real starting point for getting a handle on burnout. Yeah, it's like your phone battery hitting zero. You're just completely zapped. Your thoughts feel all over the place, your willpower is just gone. And trying to focus on anything, forget about it. It feels like this monumental effort. And that's the key. This isn't just being tired, it's being fundamentally depleted. Okay, so that brings us to the very first layer of this whole experience, energy depletion. This is the absolute foundation of burnout. It's that core feeling of being totally and completely spent. We're talking physically and mentally. And what's really interesting here is that this framework breaks down exhaustion into these distinct types. It's not all the same feeling. You could have mental depletion, where your thoughts are just scattered and you can't seem to get your willpower going. Then there's weariness, which is that really heavy exhaustion you get from being weighed down by something for a long, long time. Or maybe it's lethargy, a total lack of energy, both physical and mental. You just feel weak and sluggish. And that's different from, say, physical fatigue, which is that feeling of being completely spent after something intense, like running a marathon. Just being able to put a name to which one you're feeling, that's a huge step. All right, so let's move on to the next layer, because this is where it all starts to connect. If energy depletion is the what, the feeling, then stress overload is the why. This is all about the pressures, the stuff that's actually draining that battery in the first place. And a huge driver of this is something called role overload. This is that classic feeling of being stretched way too thin. It's when you just totally exceed what you're able to give. You're juggling work, family, maybe some personal goals, and there's just not enough time or energy or anything really to handle it all. And this quote, this just says it all, doesn't it? Needing more hours in the day to get everything done. Gosh, who hasn't felt that? This single thought just perfectly captures what role overload feels like. It's that constant, nagging feeling that you're always falling behind because your to-do list is just impossible. And look, it's not just about juggling roles. This feeling of being pulled in a million directions is also fueled by other stuff. There's time pressure, that feeling that you're always rushed and you never have any free time. Then there's just general stress from all the things you're worried about. And then there's chronic stress. This is a big one. It's like a rubber band that's been stretched so tight for so long that it just can't snap back anymore. You literally lose the ability to relax. Okay, so you're depleted and you're overloaded. So what happens next? Well, that brings us to layer 3, the emotional storm. This is the fallout. It's that wave of negative feelings that just washes over you because of those first 2 layers. And the emotional range here can be huge. On one end of the spectrum, you might be dealing with something as profound as depression, that long-term low mood where it feels like life has no meaning. But on the other end, it could just be pure irritation. Having a super short fuse, snapping at people, and just feeling annoyed by, well, everything. And the storm doesn't stop there. Burnout can also stir up a ton of anxiety, that tense, knot in your stomach feeling, maybe even panic. Or it can just create this general state of negative affect, which is basically a catch-all for a whole cocktail of feelings like disgust, frustration, and anger, all just simmering right below the surface. Okay, so we've looked at the 3 distinct layers, right? The energy depletion, the stress overload, and that emotional storm. Now, let's put it all back together, because seeing how these things connect, that's the real key to understanding the full picture of burnout. And here it is. This is the complete anatomy. It's basically a chain reaction. Step 1, it all starts with that energy depletion, that feeling of being totally drained. Step 2, that depletion is caused by the stress overload, just having way too much to do and too much pressure. And step 3, well, that leads directly to that storm of negative emotions. So, here's the really crucial takeaway from all this. Burnout isn't just one vague thing. It's a combination of very specific feelings and experiences. And by giving a name to these distinct parts, the depletion, the overload, the specific emotions, you can actually start to figure out what's going on. And just that act of naming it, man, that is such a powerful first step toward managing it all. So now that you have the language for all this, I'll leave you with a final question. Which of these feelings really resonates the most with you? Is it the depletion? Is it the overload? Or is it one of the emotions in that storm? Because figuring out which part of this feels most true for you, that's how you start to find your way back.